Hello and welcome to Snowrunner News. I'm UK Gamer 808 and I keep you updated with the latest goings on from Snowrunner. So what's going on today? Well, we're waiting on an update and I did expect that we might get one today, but no, it's still not ready. I spoke to them this morning and they still are not giving us a time when an update will be ready to sort some of these crash issues. Now, a lot of these crash issues, I know for a fact that a lot of you are downloading all the mods, enabling them all, going into the game and then going, oh, it keeps crashing all the time. And it's like, well, yeah, it will do. Don't do that. The best way is to just add a couple of mods at a time and go from there. Go and add 2 in the game, go and play it with them, make sure they're all alright, and then you know your game's working, add another couple more, and then this way you can find the problem mods. Whereas if you go and upload all of them and the game's crashing, it's like, well, it's either crashing because there's too many mods there because you're only allowed a certain amount. Now that does vary a little bit on different consoles, because I noticed that some people had certain mods and others had certain mods and it would crash, and then theirs would and theirs wouldn't, so it didn't really all make sense. But I spoke to a couple of people where they said it kept crashing, and I said, how many mods you got? And they said all of them. And it's like, well, what do you expect? Don't have all your mods on at once, just use the ones you're going to use and then bring them into the game and then add some more. Then that way, if you add some more into the game and it crashes, you know it's that mod, so then you can go and disable it, come back into the game, it works. Right, so you've eliminated that one out of the equation. That's the best way of doing it, rather than just uploading them all and then you're in trouble. Now this is how it is on PC as well, whereas I've been on PC for the last 2 months and I've had a couple of times I've just loaded my game in and it just kept crashing, and it was down to one of the mods. So it's just a case of you've got to decipher which mod it was, and it's easier to do that if you add them all a couple at a time rather than all in one go. Now, we have had some problems with some maps as well. I've had a lot of comments saying about maps. The same thing with maps. Don't enable and download all the maps at the same time, because you can only play one map at once. So just enable one of the maps, use that map, and when you're not using that map, just disable it. If it's not disabled, it's not taking part of your memory. It's just when it's subscribed, that means it's in your list. As soon as you enable it, it will take memory. So if you're having stuff enabled and you're not using, especially maps, then you're taking up memory what doesn't need to be there. So just enable one map at a time. Now, another thing on maps is that the question keeps coming up that every map you put in is a new game. So you can't use your vehicles you've got in your game now and bring it into a modded map, because it's a new game. So that's the way it is with all modded maps. Now, a lot of them, they start off with infinite money, and some of them have got a rank on there, and some of them have got missions where you can jump up a lot of money and jump up ranks. So it's not all bad at the end of the day, but a lot of you don't realise that you're going in and you're starting on rank 1 and you're like, well, what's going on? And then certain vehicles you can't get certain upgrades. Now, some of the maps I've been on, a lot of the upgrades and that are unlocked anyway. That's why I'm using one of the maps at the moment, because it's easier for me to get all the vehicles, because all the vehicles are unlocked. They're not, oh, you've got to be here, you've got to be there, and it makes it a lot easier, really does. So just remember that a new map is a new game, and you cannot take any other vehicles into it. You can only just take your mods, and that's your lot. But like I said, most of them start off with plenty of money, or there are contracts you can get on and do that anyhow. So moving over to what mods are in the console mods browser today, and we have 38 all in total. So the Voron Super Grad, that one's came back in, and we have the Yerf Dog and Truck Day in America, that one's also back in. So we got 38 mods. The one was missing at the moment, we got the Monstrosity still isn't back in, and we've also got the Crawler. Now, if you've already got those, you subscribed to them beforehand, you probably still got them in the game. But if you haven't done, then they're not available. Now, they should be coming available as soon as the rendering issues have been fixed, and as soon as they will, it will show up back in the mod browser. Now, with the Super Voron Grad, I took that one out earlier and had some problems with it when I was going forward and back, and it was obviously going forward, going back, no problems, and then when I hit forward again, it would keep going in reverse, and I was just having a few little issues with the controls for it. So let me know in the comments if you've had any bugs with that, because it seems to be, well, I noticed it straight away. I got out of the garage and it started having the problems with it well, you go forward and it go reverse, and you're like, hey, what's going on? But it only seemed to do that with the large mud tyres. I tried the smaller wheels on it and didn't have any problem. I haven't tried all the tyres, but that was when I just got it out to have a mess around with, and that was the issue I was having. When you go into reverse, you can see the wheels are trying to turn there, and it's sort of trying to move, but it just wouldn't have it whatsoever, and it started shaking a little bit, and you're like, go on then, get on with it, and then it goes into reverse. But you're finding you're putting it into drive, going into forward, and it was still going into reverse as well. So it was a bit, the controls are a bit screwed up there. I'm not sure what it is. I couldn't quite work it out because it wasn't consistent. It was never the same problems going on. So, but like I said, if you have any problems with that, let me know, or any other vehicles, drop it into the comments, and it's always nice to see what issues we are having. Now, moving on to the negative money, where there was a couple of the mods what were minus 5 million. So basically, if you bought one of the winches, it would give you £5 million, which was great. But if you sold the vehicle, it would put you on the minus £5 million. And this has happened to quite a few people. Now, if this has happened to you, can you drop it into the comments so we can have an idea of how many people this has happened to? Now, Focus and Sabre know about this, and they've said that there will be a fix in the next update. Now, how this fix is going to be, I'm not too sure, because some of you need the money, some of you don't. So unless they're going to put a sort of money cheat on one of the menus or something like that, or I don't know what they're going to do, but they said it will be addressed in the next update whenever that comes. So for the time being, you're a bit screwed especially if you're minus millions and millions and millions. The best thing is just go and start a new game and just go and have a crack with mods on that, because otherwise you're not going to be able to do a lot. You're not going to be able to gain enough money to put it onto a decent, well, so you can actually buy stuff again. So that's a little bit of a problem. Now, on the Super Voron again, there are some minus items on there, but they're only like sort of, some of them are -1 and some of them are minus 7,500 and all that. So if you sell it, you're going to lose that money. So that's why your money is going to go down. So bear that in mind. Then we move on to branding for console mods, i.e. brands for some of the vehicles. Now, we know they have got brands in the game from the start, but it appears that they have licenses for their mods, but if somebody else brings in another mod, then their license doesn't cover their mod. So certain licenses are not going to be coming at the moment. Now, they are in discussion with others for different brands. Now, they're not telling us who that's with at the moment, but so that's going to change in time, and obviously they're not going to say, oh yeah, we're talking to Kamaz or we're talking to Urel, and then you know they're sort of coming, and that's probably why they're not telling us. But as it is at the moment, Chevy. Now, we thought that Chevy would be able to come into the game, and because they've got Chevrolet branding, and no, they're saying, the dev said earlier that Chevy is forbidden. So it's fine for their branded vehicles, but other people's branded vehicles, that's not going to happen. Where it looks like Chevy is not going to let that happen. So anyone's got a Chevy mod and they want to bring it into console mods, it looks like that's not going to be. But on the plus side, Ford is. So we're allowed Ford. So I'm not sure whether it's a case of Ford are a lot easier to deal with for branding or what, but it seems that we can have Ford branded vehicles in the game at the moment, and that's the only one we're going to know of, which is a little bit of a shame, because we have got quite a few brands, but this isn't going to be an ongoing thing. As soon as we find out a lot more, I will let you know, and if they're in discussions with about brands, then that's got to be a good thing. Hopefully they'll come in the future, but to be honest, as long as we get a few brands, I think everyone will be happy with that, and most of the trucks are going to look very similar to their branded counterparts anyway. They just won't have the badge on the front and all of that malarkey, so then they can't, it's all about, they just don't want to get into trouble for it basically, and then the mod has to get taken down. So that's the crack with brands. Now, going on to when mods are going to be released, as I've seen a lot of talk in the chat where they're saying, oh yeah, it's going to be every 2 days and every 3 days, and there is no set time for when mods are going to be released. When they're ready to come out, then they're going to be released. It's as simple as that. So there's a few people saying, oh yeah, it's going to be every 3 days or every 2 days. There isn't a set timeline on it. As soon as a mod is ready, then it will be brought into the browser. Now, obviously we've got Christmas going on, and they're going to have a shutdown for Focus and Sabre. I'd have thought they're not going to have full staff on, so I doubt we're going to see many mods over the Christmas period. Now, Puppy Master has been working on a few different mods, and he did say he wanted to try and get the three of them out before Christmas. Now, due to the work he's got left on those, that he thinks that only one of them may be able to bring out before Christmas, and the other ones will be on the new year. Now, we have got more mods coming. I know this for a fact that there are certain mods. I'm not going to say which ones they are at the moment, but there are them coming, and hopefully we will have a few coming over the Christmas period. But like I said, they haven't told us what their shutdown procedure is, whether it's all shutting down or we're going to get a few mods here and there, or they've got a stockpile of mods. They're not telling us very much about anything at the moment. They really aren't. Now, if you're looking for the latest info on Snowrunner, then you're better off coming and join Discord. Now, I do drop into my Discord any little snippets I know about, or any little pictures what come across, I drop it in there and let anyone who joins it know. So you do get a little insight on what's going on, and then I do a video on it later on. So if you want to know anything earlier, Discord is the place to be. That's where all the information is posted, and that's where all the modders post. I will leave I'll pin a message to the top, so if you want to join Discord, hit that and jump on in. Righto, that's it for today's Snowrunner news, and I'm hopeful that we get an update before Christmas, but I very much doubt it at the moment. And to be honest, all we got to do is just take it easy with mods. Don't put too many in the game at once, and just use them one by one, and then add more as you go, and then that way you can eliminate any problems. It's not hard, but if you add them all at once, you're just going to run into issues all the time. Righto, that's it for today's Snowrunner news. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and you know what to do if you did. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode.